Hello and welcome to the very first Higher Into Parenting Life podcast. This first set of interviews is going to be focused on inspiring plant-based parents. That's right, all inspiring vegan parents to help encourage us live healthy, plant-based lifestyles. So without much further ado, let's get right into it. My first guest is Ellen Fisher.
Hey Kevin, how are you?
Wonderful. How are you?
Good. Oh my gosh, you are doing such an amazing job. I am loving your YouTube channel, and Elvis loved that video of what your raw vegan kids ate today.
Oh yeah? Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's really refreshing, and I'm so happy that there's like somebody else out there on social media raising healthy vegan and raw kids in such a like professional way, because I feel like sometimes there's like other people who are kind of like showing about their kids eating raw, but they don't really have that much information or unsure about things, and it just doesn't look quite as normal. Do you know what I mean?
I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm trying to put it in a good light. Yeah.
Yeah, so important because there's a lot of misinformation about it. So it really makes me happy to see that there's somebody else doing it in a similar way.
And it's kind of funny because I think, being that we chose raw for our kids, it's really because we're questioning things, and we chose raw because like that's kind of what we got down to after we investigated. And so I'm more than open to people's objections. I don't want to be wrong. Not wrong, but I'm not. I'm trying to do my best with the kids. That's all I'm trying to do, and that's why we're doing the raw. But I really appreciate you being in the world too.
No, thank you. I think like for me, it just makes the most sense because this is what both me and my husband do, and this is what makes us feel our best. Why in the world would we feed our kids any differently?
Right.
When this is what makes us feel our best. We're eating locally. We're eating, plant foods from the earth, right off the tree. Super delicious food that is really delicious to Elvis and our children, like loving it. So why on earth would we do it any differently when our children don't experience illnesses? We don't have trips to the hospital or doctor's office, and we're thriving. Why? It's funny how people would say that it's like, you shouldn't do that when really everyone raises their kids based on the way that they live, based on their passions and based on the lifestyle they live. Everyone does it.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, if we're being, I've said it in another way that some people find a little funny, but it's true that I think we're all experimenting with our kids. And especially, how can we not say people who are giving kids McDonald's or Doritos or like things that have literally been invented only in the last 50 years? Like that's got to be an experiment.
That's way more of an experiment than
fruit.
Feeding tree-ripened fruit and vegetables.
Yeah,
way more of an experiment. Just saying, oh, it's like I watched your McDonald's YouTube video. The one that you went up to, and you were so like polite about it to try to like not create controversy, like asking about the parents feeding their kids McDonald's, and the answer is always just like, oh, it's a treat, when really like they don't really know.
Right.
Just how detrimental it is to their health, otherwise they wouldn't be doing it. So when people say that we're like experimenting, it's really kind of fun. It's kind of baffling, really, like whole plant foods, even whether it's cooked or raw, whatever, like it's much less of an experiment than dead animal carcass and processed foods to me.
It is. So every time, I know you got to take things seriously to some degree because people are coming from a legitimate standpoint of concern. At least that's what I'm trying to perceive it as. And but it's really funny, to think that we're experimenting with fruits, and they're not with candy and all these other things that they're giving to kids.
Yeah, I guess I always, whenever there's like a concern, if it's addressed in a polite way, it's easier for me to just like to respond back, because it's like I'm trying to relate to their point of view and understand that maybe they just don't have the information and the knowledge, like the simple questions of, but where are your children going to get their protein? Like that's just a simple, they aren't educated on topics like that. So it makes sense why those people wouldn't understand. And so I try to be empathetic towards that. Just like they don't look at the world in the same way that I do. But whenever it's like an aggressive or angry or just downright not positive or beneficial, the type of criticism, it's really just move along, delete, or just walk away. Like there's just no point.
Yep. There's how many billion? 8 billion, 9 billion people in the world. it's yeah. You just say next. It's like
Yeah,
yep.
you can't please everyone, no matter what you're doing. And
Yeah.
Andrew reminds me of that a lot.
There's too many people. It's a there's this one analogy. I forgot who told it to me, but I can't get it out of my head. Of this stage performer. So he's giving this performance. It's like his best, like his performance of his lifetime, and but there's this one guy in the front row who's just not impressed, and he's like falling asleep, kind of just not paying attention, checking his phone. And when he gets off stage, he talks to his mentor, and he's like, like I thought I did so well, but this guy just, like he was. Anyway, he's focused on him, and and his mentor just pointed out like you're focusing on the one, but you got to focus on the ones who were enjoying your show. So there's so many people that we help, and I don't ever want to
Right.
forget that and get lost on somebody.
Yeah, totally. And Andrew reminds me of that a lot too. He's like it's funny how like in a sea of compliments and a sea of like positive feedback, like this is helping my kids or my kids watch this and then they get inspired to eat fruits and vegetables. You get that one comment of the like, Jesus effing blah blah blah. You need to go to prison or something like that type of thing. It just sticks with you. Eat more. It's
I
funny
know
how
it. It does, especially because it's our kids. I think.
you wouldn't believe the names I've been called. It's YouTube. That's what it is. YouTube is a really brutal place because there's no what's that word? There's like you're
Accountability.
not. Yeah, there's no accountability towards what you're saying. Like the stuff people say, they would never say in real life if they met us
Yeah.
in real life.
Right.
If they anybody who meets us in real life and like learns about our lifestyle, nobody is negative about it. Every single person is like, wow, your children look so healthy. They're such nice, friendly kids, and like you guys are obviously thriving. Nobody in real life would ever say that stuff in real life, like what they're saying on YouTube. So it's just something to remember.
I appreciate the reminder because I think we can't. I appreciate supporting each other there. It is
Yeah,
because it's you're putting yourself out there. You're trying to help people
yeah.
see what's possible.
I don't experience that type of negativity on Instagram as much. 'Cause I
And
think like
me
people
neither.
are yeah, because I think people are choosing to follow your life, so they're either even if they are skeptical, they're interested in some way. Whereas on YouTube, it'll be like some type of suggested video, and someone who has no idea about how anybody raises their kids vegan, will be like, "What? You can't do that." Click on it. You can't do this, that type of thing. But at the same time, YouTube is such a beautiful place because it's like the new way to watch TV. Like people
Hmm.
aren't watching TV as much; they're going to YouTube, and instead of TV being controlled by these like small five gigantic corporations, it's like the people, and it's like freedom of speech to really help change the world and make it a better place to help inspire people. It's just like I think there's so much good that can come from it, so I'm excited about it.
I'm so happy to hear you describe it that way and see not only that it's a way for us to absorb information and see the world and um, gather news and take in media, but simultaneously to actually create and make a difference and contribute to that change.
Yeah, like imagine that, like the way it's always been since TV has like been around is that you just sit like a drone and just watch whatever they choose to put in front of your face. And you have a few options, but the types of stuff is pretty much the same. And yeah, okay, YouTube does still have advertisements, but it's funny they haven't quite nailed down who to advertise to. Like the people who are watching my videos are getting like McDonald's advertisements. It's like you're advertising to the wrong people, you guys. But I feel like you just kind of skip through it. But still, it's like such a cool place. Now it's in the controls in our hands. Like we're the ones. Did you
Yep.
hear Andrew read somewhere? Was it something Donald Trump said something about how like we should shut down YouTube or something because too much freedom of speech or something?
I
I
didn't
might be
catch
getting
that.
it
It
was
wouldn't
something like
surprise
that.
me.
It was Donald Trump said something about like trying to shut down the freedom of speech in regards to like help progressing. There's too many good progressive ideas that aren't beneficial to big business.
Well, in the interest of finding out more progressive ideas, Ellen, what do you pay attention to as far as the media, or where do you get your information from? You talked about using YouTube as opposed to using a TV. Do you guys not have a TV in your house, and what kind of media do you take in?
We actually do have a TV in our house because Andrew does love sports. So we do have cable, like he watches sports, but that's the only thing we ever turn on the TV for. Is he like Andrew's a big Dodger baseball fan, and Elvis likes to watch the Dodgers with him. Then we watch Netflix. We like to watch documentaries, but we don't do too much of that. I think you guys don't have a TV, right? You guys, or do you?
We don't have a TV right now. No.
Yeah, you do. I think you said you guys do a lot of like book reading together in the evenings and stuff. And we read a lot of books like as a family. If we watch something, it's generally after the kids go to bed. Andrew really likes to like sit down and
Same
watch
for
them
us.
together. Yeah.
Yep, that's fun.
But yeah. I met or I've recently come in contact with another family who they don't have a TV at all, and I'm like, wow, that's so cool. It's like I think it's really cool to not have a TV at all. If Andrew wasn't into sports, I don't think we would have one. But sports are cool.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate other people's athleticism. It is a cool world.
Yeah.
Um, there's just so much going on. Well, do you mind getting down to the nitty gritty of some interview? This was
Yeah.
great fodder already. I appreciate this conversation. It's kind of naturally sprung into what I thought was pretty good.
I know you're like, oh, it'll take 30 to 40 minutes. I'm like, if we like were really to talk about all those topics you want to talk about, I think it would take like 3 hours. Easily just sit here if we didn't have any like kid interruptions.
Yeah,
You know what
if
I
we didn't
mean?
have any kid interruption. I'm still kid free for a little bit. Megan's at a friend's house with him.
That's awesome. Yeah, I am too, actually. Andrew's over there, and both the kids are taking a nap. Elvis still takes quiet time every day.
That is so awesome. I think that's. I wish I had a. I think it's just a conditioned practice. Maybe I'm tossing it
Yeah.
out there, but we
Yeah.
just never, conditioned it. There's so many cultures that take a nap or take a
Hmm.
siesta, and I'm like,
Hmm.
why did we not just take a siesta?
Yeah, I mean, I think I need it more than he does. And sometimes I'll tell him, he's like, oh, I don't want to take a nap today. I'm like, mommy needs a quiet time today. Mommy needs it, and explain it to him. Like, it feels really good for me to, like, take a little break. I'm going to take a break, too. So you're going to take a break in your room. I'm going to take a break here. And he's like, okay, yeah. And if he doesn't, he falls asleep maybe, like a couple times a week. But the other times he just sits in his room and with all his favorite toys. And he'll, like, play toys or, like, look at his books while he reads to his little dolls and stuff. Yeah, it's really just quiet time. It's just really nice refresher because then when it's over, after like 40 minutes, whatever, we're kind of like refreshed. Like, okay, let's go outside. Let's go do something. And I try to time it to where Elvis and Sandy take their like nap and quiet time at the same time. Like if I could tell Sandy's getting ready to go to sleep, I'm like, okay, Elvis, it's quiet time.
That's pretty great, and it's yeah, paying attention to the cycles of the day and
Mhm.
actually finding time for us to get rest in is really critical. I was
Yeah.
going to ask kind of what a tip would be for staying energized, and that I think would be a pretty good tip is if you can set yourself up to have your kids take a quiet time and you get some rest time as well.
Yeah, but like obviously, I think we can both be in agreement that like our diet and lifestyle, like taking care of our health, is the number one way to like have energy to take care of kids. I'm sure we both agree on this.
I wholeheartedly agree.
I can't imagine trying to raise two kids and feeling like crap. You know what I mean? Like if I didn't feel good within my body, if I had poor digestion, or if I was self-conscious about, you know, having acne or whatever, like stuff that I had in the past. I'm so glad that I'm like feeling so good and having such great health within my body and mind. It makes it so much easier to be a good parent. Like if you know what I mean? Like if your own needs are not met, how can you help take care of another person's needs? You know?
I mean, it's when you put it that way, it's very clear. It's very impossible to meet other people's needs, and it's
Yeah.
simultaneously such a beautiful situation because it's simple. It's actually you get to take care of yourself, and then it just the reciprocal effect is so beautiful.
Right, because like when you're fueling your body with like the foods that, will make you feel your best and eating in abundance to where you're totally satisfied within your mind. And having the energy to like play with your kids and come up with ideas to be imaginative with them so much easier because I feel good. Like if I felt like, crummy, I would just want to lay on the couch and be like, oh, you'll play by yourself. I feel like I would want to do that if I didn't feel good. So when I like make sure to get enough sleep, go to bed early, because Sandy wakes up a few times at night, making sure that I like get to bed early enough so I still, even though he's waking me up at night, I'm getting a long period of rest, and then exercising, which makes me feel good and helps me to like do something for myself to like tone up and you know that way. And then eating healthy, it's like so important.
I wholeheartedly agree again, and it's you were started to mention the various elements. I describe it as 33 elements of energy,
Mhm.
and diet being one, and fitness, and getting sleep, and getting some rest during the day and relaxation, and getting sunshine, and clean water and optimal diet.
Yeah, sunshine is so important. Sunshine just makes us all happier.
Yes, it truly does. And friendships and companionships and just setting all these things up into a essentially to get them accomplished in a day. And it's a really fun day when you, like you mentioned, your fitness. That's most likely fun for you, isn't it, Ellen?
Yeah, it's totally fun. And then Elvis sees, like, we model that for him, that exercising is fun. Because it's just one of those things that we do because we don't go like, I gotta exercise now. It's kind of like, oh, Dad's gonna go on a run right now. And Elvis like waves them goodbye. And then they go on a run, a little mini run together when he gets back, or vice versa. Like they might start on a run and then he goes longer. And it's really fun for him. He like wants to do it. He wants to do what we're doing. Is Takari like that?
The car is very much like that. And he's at the age where he rides a bike well enough to just bike alongside me as I run. And we can go, 5-6 miles because I can just push him up the hills if it's too steep and just kind of run behind him. And then he takes care of all the rest.
That's so cool. You should get some of that on video. I don't know how you would do that. Get a GoPro on you or something.
That is a tricky part is recording all this stuff when you have kids. And
I know. I would love to upload more, like on YouTube. I have so many topics I want to cover and so many things I want to do. I have so many ideas, but like what my sister asked me the other day, she's like, "You're still working on that one YouTube video?" I'm like, working on one that's taking a while. She's like, because she ended up doing a YouTube video for something, and it took her 4 hours, and she just sat down and did it for 4 hours. I'm like, I don't ever have 4 hours to just sit down for 4 hours and do it. I have like 20 minutes at a time, maybe 30 minutes, and then baby interrupts or they got to feed or whatever, and it's just like, and that's why I'm so grateful to have such a supportive partner and that we're like on the same page. I forgot to mention that too. I think that's another thing that's so valuable in raising children is having a partner that you two have a good relationship together. Not only just for modeling that for your children, but it just makes life so much easier when you guys are like happy together.
I actually did, Ellen, on your recommendation.
Oh, it's so good, isn't it?
It is, yes. I had come across it before and just in concept, and then after you had recommended it, I just decided I'd pick it up and read it because it is a short read. So I went through it. And
sure. Yeah, totally. It's just it was so good for us and our relationship, and that makes just like parenting together much easier. He gives, and also we kind of like swap. He has work, and then the times that he's not at work, we'll kind of, okay, this is a family day, no work. Mom's not going to do any filming. Mom's not going to do any Instagram, no answering emails or anything. We're just going to go have fun today. And then there's some days where it's like, all right, so Mom's got to answer emails, and then Andrew will take the kids out to the beach or something like that so that I can get a couple hours to myself. And it feels really good to be productive in that way, that I'm like expressing my passion. I'm being a full-time mom, obviously, but that I also have like this little thing on the side that I feel like I'm being so productive, It's really cool.
That is awesome. Only because it can be such a topic for people on a plant-based diet, especially primarily a fruit-based diet. Do you mind covering a little bit of your birth story?
Yeah, I have a whole video on my YouTube sharing both my birth stories. It's like over 20 minutes long. I share like so many details. I get really into it. But yeah, I have like the full story on my YouTube.
That's great. I'll put the link below.
Yeah, and they were both born at home. Elvis was born at home in California, and when we were living there at the time, then we moved to Maui a year later, and Sandy was born at home in Maui. So 2 different midwives. I had CPMs for both of them. It was just the best experience ever, the most euphoric thing in my life. Like, I feel safest at home. I can't imagine giving birth at a hospital unless I was a high-risk pregnant mom. Like, unless I had something in me that was an emergency that I needed to give birth at a hospital. But being a healthy, safely pregnant, eating healthy, living a healthy lifestyle, I feel safest at home. And it was the best experience in my life. It's so incredibly painful. I've had people be like, oh, was your labor, euphoric and not painful because you eat a raw diet? I'm like, no, there's still like a huge head coming out of my vagina. Like, it still hurt. Like, being raw doesn't like numb your body.
I appreciate you being so real there, Ellen. I do want to ask though, you said you're eating healthy, and something I really noticed in you and I appreciate and in that is that you're very confident in what you're doing for your children, for yourself. And can I ask some people, because some people would find it hard to stay that confident in their diet especially when women become pregnant. And how did you stay confident?
Yeah, I know. I see that so much. I see that so much actually, and people email me a lot. With their, having questions. Like it's good to have questions, of course, when you first
Definitely.
go vegan and stuff. It's totally good.
Questions are great.
But yeah, I see a lot of lack of confidence when once family members tell them that what they're doing is wrong, and I try really hard to explain how important it is to inform yourself and based on what makes the most common sense too. Like where are you going to get your information? Make sure the information you're getting is not biased. Who is funding the study you're reading about? What makes the most common sense to you after all of the research that you've done? And after that, just be confident in what you're doing. Because if what you're eating is making you feel better than you've ever felt, and if it makes sense to you to eat whole plant foods in abundance, then others' negativity, who's like, complaining to you and pointing the finger at you, saying that what you're doing is wrong while they're eating chicken nuggets or while they're eating, ice cream. Like, don't let it get you down. It's just one of those things where a lot of people just haven't done the research. And once you understand, I think part of it too is once you understand that why so many people are misinformed, it makes it easier to not let negativity get you down and, second guess yourself, I guess. I think the book Whole by Colin Campbell, it's a really good book for people who are trying to understand like which information should they take as truth and as valid about whether to eat plant-based or whether not to. Since he's a biochemist scientist, he has a lot of information from his whole life and his career about where information comes from and personal hands-on information. So he shares a lot about like why the misinformation gets out there. It's just a really good book. So I like to recommend that book for people who are not confident. And then another thing is like, once you get pregnant and that shit that like makes other people afraid of what you're already doing. Like let's say they've already been vegan, then they get pregnant and then other people are putting them down. Does it make any sense to like, if you feel amazing and you know that what you're doing is best for your health, why would you eat any differently when you're growing a life inside of you? You should be eating the same. You should be eating the foods that make you feel like lively. So I actually haven't personally experienced that much negativity in real life because all of my friends and family are very supportive of our lifestyle. My side of the family, my parents, and my husband's side of the family, his parents are, and their families. They're like his brothers and sisters. They're all so supportive of us. Though they're not vegan themselves, they're supportive of what we do, and they know that what we do is creating healthy kids. So they have nothing to say negatively about us. And also, like deep down, they're kind of like, yeah, we know what you're doing is healthiest. Like we're not going to do it for you, do it, but you can do it. Like my mama said, if I ever get sick, I'm going to come to you, and like really sick. So I'm going to come to you, and then I'll start eating vegan and raw. I'm like, just do it now. But she doesn't see it that way. But that's okay. She's totally supportive of our lifestyle, and that's what matters the most to us. And also, actually, Andrew's brother and his brother's wife, so my sister and brother-in-law, and their 2 kids, they're vegan as well. So they have a full vegan family. So on Andrew's side of the family, half of the people in his family are vegan. And then also on my side of the family, half the people are vegan. We actually we outnumber them because my sister is vegan as well. So it's pretty cool that a lot of us in our family are vegan, and so we just have a lot of support in our life. But for the people who don't have support and have a lot of negativity, I think it's so important to be confident in what you're doing, because eventually, and also it's important to inform yourself, because once you inform yourself, you'll have the answers to people's concerns, and then after a while, once they realize okay, she actually knows what she's doing, she's actually researching it, they kind of realize that they themselves don't have that much information.
Mm-hmm.
They're just taught whatever they saw on TV or in the news, so they don't really know how to respond once you have the answers. So then after a while, it's kind of like the conversation dies and they're going to stop bugging you about it when you're confident. But they can see right through if you're not confident. If you're like not confident in what you're doing, they're going to keep pressing you. So I think that's a major factor when it comes to like you're like living a vegan and a raw lifestyle, like being informed and confident in what you're doing.
I think that's highly beneficial and highly useful tip there. to be informed. And simultaneously, once you're that confident and once you are informed and sure of yourself in a way, I often find a successful method has been to not get involved in answering always, but sometimes just to ask some questions. For instance, that protein question, it's amazing how little people actually know about protein.
Yeah,
And
totally.
so they quickly start to see that perhaps they need to do some research before they ask a question.
Yes.
Because it's funny, because the parents who are listening to this podcast and the parents who are feeding their kids a plant-based diet most likely have done more research than the people asking them questions. Remember that.
Yeah, exactly. And then another factor too is just being the best example you can be for those around you, and they will see the difference in time. They will see your health, blossom, and how you're starting to feel better as they're often starting to feel worse. And so then they really can't have anything to say. Like everyone around me when I first went vegan saw my health just take a whole new turn to such a better, like in such a better way, to where how could they say something negative? Like I was getting so much healthier. So I think that's part of it too. It's just be the best example, and when you're around them too, there's no need to make it awkward. Just be comfortable in what you're doing. When you bring your food to social gatherings, like bring extra food to share with them. Would you like some or whatever? There's no need to make it awkward. So I don't know. That's how I feel.
I think it's a great another tip there as well for the social side of it. When you and Elvis attend get-togethers or birthday parties of other children, how do you manage that situation?
Well, when Elvis was really little, like taught like 1.5, or no, when he was 2 years old was the first time he went to like a real social gathering where other kids were eating stuff that we don't eat. And he was only 2 at the time, so it's definitely harder to explain at that age. So he was a little bit kind of like, wait, why can't I eat that type of thing at that age? He had never seen what that stuff was. He didn't even know what that stuff was that the other kids were eating. But I just made sure to bring all of his absolute favorite snacks, dried banana, coconut meat, and avocado, and bell pepper, all of his favorite foods. So then he quickly realized within 1 or 2 events, like, oh, it doesn't matter that I'm not eating the food that's there because mommy brought me all of my favorite snacks. And then after a while, once he started to get a little older, actually even around 2.5, we were already reading Ruby Ross vegan books to him. And so he really quickly started to learn why we were eating the way we were eating, just through natural conversation anyways, as he got older. And then he started to make that choice on his own, like he wants to eat that way. And I often will call the host in advance and ask what dessert they're making so I can make a raw vegan version of it to bring, like a small portion of it for him. And it feels really special for him to be able to eat, something that's so special and decadent looking alongside with them. So he doesn't feel left out at all. And we don't, again, there's no need to make it awkward. We just bring our food and go, oh yeah, this is just the way we eat. Like, no problem, you eat the way you want to eat. This is just what makes us feel our best. And Elvis he's always like, we're just going to be good examples. He even like says that because that's what I always used to say, or what I say. And even the last time we went to a birthday party, it was like the day before, and I was making him this like raw chocolate cake with strawberries on it because that's what the party was having, what they're going to be serving. And he walked out of his quiet time. He was like, "Oh, what are you making, Mom?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm making you a raw chocolate cake for the birthday party tomorrow that we're going to." And he looked at me with like, it was like the first time he really understood that like, wow, Mom goes through this whole extra effort for me, so I'm satisfied and I'm happy. And he was like, "Wow, thanks, Mom," and gave me this huge hug. He's like, "I'm so excited. It looks so good." And it made me feel so good to realize like he's, at 2 years old, he didn't really realize the effort I was putting into to make the food satisfactory for him and exciting for him. But at this age, at 4 years old, he's realizing that because he wants to eat vegan on his own. When people will ask him, "Oh, do you want some of this?" It's like, "Is it vegan?" And if they say it's not, he's like, "No, thanks." So it's like on his own. He's like, "I don't eat that." So he's happy that I'm bringing him special food, so he's extra satisfied when we go to the party. And I just found that really works for us.
I think it's fantastic advice there, and I've had very similar experiences with our son, Dakari, as well.
That's awesome.
Do you also happen to find that the other kids tend to like the food that you bring?
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. You wouldn't believe, like, we have these neighbor kids across the street from us, and I literally don't think they have any fruit in their house because every time they come to our house, they just scavenge all the food in my house. They're like, "Do you have star fruit right now? Do you have bananas right now?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course." Or, "Can you make me a smoothie?" And one of the boys literally, because they pretty much just do cookouts every weekend of like dead pig and just like they're always eating like processed candy, like Kit Kat, that type of thing. And they come to our house and they just like devour the fruit. And one time I made one of the boys a smoothie and he was drinking a smoothie. He's like, "Wow, I wish I lived at your house." I'm like, "Okay, can I get this on video, please?"
I know. I mean, there's been so many instances like that where you're just like, can I get this on video? These kids
Yeah,
just
like
love the fruit. I mean,
I know. I'm
kids here
like,
have been just, we've been giving them all persimmons, and so many of it just been enamored with them.
yeah, I'm sure. Especially like if a kid in your neighborhood doesn't normally get sweet, ripe
They don't
fruit.
normally get it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny how that works. And I couldn't believe my ears. I'm like, "Really? You'd rather live at my house?" I told him what we eat. Like, we just eat fruits and vegetables. And even though he's used to his stuff, he's like, "This is what I want to eat. This, like, I wish I lived at your house." That was awesome. And I was kind of looked at him like, "Well, yeah, duh. The food is so good. Like, we eat really good food." I think a lot of people think that, oh, the way we eat is
Repressive or
like
something, huh? But it's,
depressing and not delicious, and that's why it was so cool to hear that from another kid. Because obviously, it's not depressing, and it of course is very delicious, but people just don't realize that. But children see that once they start eating the right fruit from our house.
it's somewhat like how some people say, like, oh, every day is the same, or they get into this a listlessness. And basically, it comes down to an unappreciation for the little nuances that occur all the time in our life. There's so many
Yeah.
different things going on, and no clouds formation is the same, no tree ripples its leaves the same way, nothing happens the same way ever, and
Yes.
no two tomatoes are the same, no bite of a mango is the same, and there's so many things we could pay attention to. It's not a bland diet by any stretch of the imagination.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think people, when they think of raw food, they think of like the side of kale on their plate that they order at a steakhouse. That's what they think
It's
of
such an
raw food.
unfortunate thing, yes.
Yeah, it's not a. Oh, hi, Elvis. Elvis just got up some quiet
But
time.
thankfully for people like you and Elvis, the rest of the world now knows that raw food is a whole lot more than that.
Yeah, it's so much more delicious. And Elvis wants to make. You know who we're talking to, Elvis? I'm talking to. Remember how we just watched the other day what my raw vegan kids ate today, and it was the little boy who made the raw pancakes on the dehydrator. Hi, this is Kevin, Uncle Kevin. Do you
Hi,
remember?
Elvis.
That's Daddy. Hi. Do you remember him from Woodstock? Oh wait, I gotta turn on the video so you know what I'm talking about. Do you remember him from Woodstock? You loved him at Woodstock. He was like your favorite person. Well, him and Tim Sheep.
Tim
Those were
Sheep,
his two.
yes. We all played quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
We did some tossing around in the air. Yeah.
Say bye.
Bye.
Bye,
Elvis.
guys. Bye,
Bye.
Kalani. Bye, Dakari.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this first High Energy Parenting Life podcast featuring Ellen Fisher, the first of the Inspiring Vegan Parent series. I hope you enjoyed. Check out Ellen's stuff, subscribe to her YouTube channel, follow her on Instagram, check out her eBooks, and of course, like this video, leave a comment below, and subscribe for more inspiring vegan parents.